Hello everyone, this is Neha Soni and I am your social science teacher. So, we have started with history from class 6 and we have started our chapter number 3 in the earlier city, and we were talking about the cities of Harappan civilization and you can say Indus Valley civilization, and now we will talk about the lifestyle of the people. So, here we begin the part number 2, life in the city. So, the life was urban and we have understood this urban civilization were there. So, the Harappa, and Harappa, it was a oldest city of this subcontinent. So, the ruling class here shown a keen interest, okay, in the development of cities. So, that is why they are very developed cities. So, the ruling class of the here shows a keen interest to make this city is flourished and developed very well, and these cities also had clerks, okay, and whose evidence we have received in the form of handwritten on seals. So, there were different groups of people. So, we found the evidence of clerk and we can find it by the help of the handwriting were there on the seals. So, here is a picture given to you and you can see in a rectangular shape a seal is there and something is written on this. So, they had a script and we have found this script on the seal, and this proves that the clerk was there, and which evidence we have received in the form of handwritten seals. Next, apart from this, the craftsman and merchant class of the cities also lived, and we have talked about the different groups of people. They had a different lifestyle, and if I talk about the craftsmen and merchants used caravan and they have to go from place to place by selling or purchasing the valuable goods, and craftsmen used to make different types of items in their home or at industrial sites. So, craftsmen used to make different type of items at their home or you can say industrial site, and a special script. Yes, we have discussed about it on the seals. We have seen some scripts were there. A special script has been found from above this seal. And next, this is one of the oldest example of writing work. So, it was the oldest example of writing work were there on the seals, as you have seen before this, and it was found in this subcontinent. So, the earliest example of writing was found in this subcontinent and we have got this from Harappa, and terracotta toys also found in this location. So, we have found some terracotta toys from this location. So, here is a picture is given to you and you can see some terracotta toys are there and children used to play with these kind of toys. Okay, next, if we talk about cities and new craft, so most of the things that archaeologists have found from here made of metals. Okay, so most of the things were found by the archaeologists made of metals like stone, conch, copper, bronze, gold and silver. So, these are some metals and people make things from this metal. Okay, and if we talk about some tools, weapons, jewelry and utensils are manufactured here, and it was done with copper, bronze, gold and silver. So, some tools, weapons and jewelry were made of copper, bronze, gold and silver, and most of the things were found from here. These were made of stone, conch, copper, bronze and gold and silver. So, you can see some stone blades are there and people use these blades to cut anything, or they can use these blades in their work. So, these are some utensils and tools which were made by these metals. And next, if we talk about like beads, okay, so beads, weights and panels, beads, weights and panels found from here and is one of the most attractive objects. So, you can find some beads and you can find some panels and weights from here, and these are most attractive objects we have found from these places and these sites. So, next, if we talk about crane of stone, so usually stone weights were there to weigh something. Okay. So, they were made of chert stone. Okay. So, crane of stone, you can see some stone weights are there and they were made of chert stone, and they may have been made to weigh precious stones and metals. So, if they have to weigh some precious stones, they use these chert stone weights, and beads were made by cutting and carving stones. And if we talk about the beads, you can see beads like in green and light blue. So, these were made by cutting and carving stones. And next, many of these were built from Carnelian stones. And which are these? So, here for an example I have given a picture to you. So, Carnelian stones, many of these garlands of beads were made by carnelian stones, and it was drilled for make a garland by putting thread in the middle of them. So, you can see these carnelian stones were drilled in middle, okay, to make a garland. So, by putting thread in these, they use these carnelian stones, okay, and the beautiful garlands and beautiful neck pieces were there, and we found lots of things of made of beads and these kind of stones, okay, and these were very beautiful and archaeologists have found these things. Next, the people of the Harappan civilization used to make stone seals, okay. So, they used to make stone seals. Why? Because the shape of these seals is rectangular and usually pictures of animals are found on them, and we will found my questions answer that why they make these stone seals. So, you will get the answer of my question in later as we will discuss. So, here a picture is given to you for an example, and these seals are in rectangular shape. So, and usually pictures of animals were there and some scripts have been there. So, some from people who were from Harappa and Harappan civilization, people used to make stone seals, and archaeologists have found so many stone seals were there. And if I talk about like the people of Harappan civilization used to make beautiful red clay pots designed in black. So, here a picture is given to you and you can see a beautiful red clay pot, and it is made of clay and they colored it with red and black, and the people who usually want to store their grain, they use these kind of clay pots. And next, probably 7,000 years ago, cotton was cultivated in Mehergarh. Yes, we have discussed it in our earliest video that cotton was cultivated in Mehergarh, and people who were familiar with the use of cotton. And the remains of a piece of cloth, from Mohenjo-daro have been found sticking to the lid of a silver vase and some other copper objects. So, some evidence of cotton were found there, and archaeologists have found these things from the place, and we found these things from Mohenjo-daro. So, it is very important that the people were familiar with the use of cotton, and the remains of it we have found from Mohenjo-daro. Next, here the spindles hollows made of terracotta, means clay. Terracotta is a type of clay, and spindles, hollows and fiends indicate spinning of yarn, means like they were familiar with cotton and they used to make threads. Okay. and from threads they used to make their garments. So, most of the items here manufactured by skilled workers, okay, like some specialty they have there in your work. So, if we talk about skilled workers who is specialist, he is a person who is trained to do only one kind of work with very efficiency. Okay, so here is an example of spindles rollers, and you can see it, they use this to make yarn, to make thread. Okay, next, like people who were specialists of something. So, like if we talk about some skilled person, they were skilled in cutting stone, like we have seen so many examples from there, and from these sides we have got so many cutting stones, beads and other things. So, people who were skilled, so they were skilled in cutting stone like carving, they were skilled in bead polishing, and they were skilled in embossing on seals. So, and we have found some stone seals and metal seals were there, and the evidence of clerk we have found on the seals which were scripted by the clerks. So, here you can see example of cutting stone. So, people used to cut the stone and to make an structure. The people who were skilled in bead polishing, like an example for you, here is an example of bead polishing, and people who were good in carving on stones like embossing on stones. So, here is an example of embossing on stones. So, we have found these kind of articles from these sites. Next, if we talk about illustration, you have given in your book. So, a stone statue is given to you in your book, and a stone statue of an important man found from Mohenjo-daro. So, this statue was found by the archaeologist from Mohenjo-daro, and his face is carved. You can see very well if I have to zoom it for you. His face is very good, very beautifully carved, okay, and beard is shown carefully, like you can see the beard of this man is shown carefully, and this was a statue of an important man, and it was carved so beautifully. So, we have found this kind of illustration from these sites. And if we talk about Mohenjo-daro, so we have found this statue from Mohenjo-daro, and his face is carved and his beard is shown carefully and shows him wearing an embroidered garment. So, here you can see his garment is embroidered, and something of this statue were, some part of this statue were destroyed, and if you notice, if you can see that some embroidery has been given on his garment. So, a statue of an important man, and we have found this statue from Mohenjo-daro. Next, if we talk about this must have been the work of an expert craft person. So, as we have discussed the skilled person, so this embroidered work was done by a expert craft person, and perhaps some women and men have been specialists in craft anything. Okay, so some men and women were specialists in these kind of work. And if we talk about like Fiends, what is fiends? So, stones and conch, you can see stones and conch, it means shells, like shells are found naturally. You know very well, from sea we have found stones, beautiful stones, colored stones, and conch and shells. So, but fiends is made artificially. So, stones and conch are found by naturally, and the fiends, you can see over here, fiends is made artificially. The powder of sand, or you can say crystal stone mixed with gum, were used to make objects from them. Okay, so here is a picture is given to you, and it is a picture of fiends, and people used to make some things from fiends. Okay. Next, after that a smooth coating was applied to those objects who were made of from fiends. Okay, the color of this smooth layer was usually blue or light sea green. So you can see some beads are there and some pot is there for you, and it was made from fiends, and the color to smooth this item was blue, or you can see light sea green. Okay, and beads, bangles, earrings and small utensils like tiny vessels were made from these fiends. And if we talk about, all of these things were made by these skilled person, and we have discussed so many things about Harappan civilization in this video, and this is all about in this video, and you have understood that the beads and their culture and their skill. So we will talk about more of these civilization in our next video. So till then, take care of your health and studies. Good day, my dear.